Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first of our parent and carer webinars. So before we dive into the webinar, I would just like to acknowledge the Palawa people of Lutruwita and the Gadigal people of Sydney, the traditional owners and custodians of the land upon which we live and work. We at the university pay our respects to elders past and present as the knowledge holders and sharers. We honour their strong culture and knowledge as vital to the self-determination, well-being and strength of the community in which we live. We stand for a future that profoundly respects and acknowledges Aboriginal culture, perspectives, history and language. Today, this agenda will give you an idea about what we are going to cover. So mostly things like why go to university, and what the university accord means for the future of study within Tasmania and Australia, our TC and ATAR, kind of breaking down what they mean, our early offer program or our school recommendation program, often referred to as SRP, we love our acronyms, student support, upcoming parent care webinars throughout the year. And then we'll also have time for questions and answers as we progress through. So I would ask you to put your questions into the Q&A section. So you'll see here on the screen. We don't want to run out of time, so it's handy if you do drop them in and I will try to deal with them as we move through. So why go to university? For some of us, it's a pretty straightforward answer. We have a career that we have in mind and we know that we need a degree in order to obtain that career path. So some of the other reasons are improved career prospects, salary for studies have shown that the more qualifications someone has, then the higher their salary. Also, the more likelihood of achieving that career that they are seeking. Improved career prospects, of course, is a result of that. But there are so many other reasons why people would choose to go to university. It's not just all about the study. There are also social aspects, extracurricular activities. We have lots, like over 120 clubs and societies that people can become involved in. Also for our students coming out of Year 12, it's an opportunity for them to really dive into a subject that they're interested in. So studying in that area that they want to dive into and explore in depth. It enables people to build their self-confidence, their independence, and become much more responsible for their future. The Australian Universities Accord we will also touch on as we move through. I guess some interesting things about the University of Tasmania. We are the only university in the state, and some of the things that we're extremely proud of, just a few of them, our student satisfaction. So 81% satisfaction with teaching quality and engagement compared to the national average of 80%. Strong graduate outcomes. So for the students that are focusing on that career that comes straight after university, 80.5% of our students go into full-time employment. And for postgraduate, that's at 89%. There is a huge range of student support available here at the university, right from when someone expresses an interest in coming onto university, and then also as they move through their journey with us, there are a number of support options available for those who may need it. We are also #1 in the world for climate action, and students can get involved in that area of the university as soon as they commence with us, sometimes before. We have 4 main campuses, so 3 in the state, Hobart, Launceston and Burnie. And then we also have a campus in Sydney that specialises in paramedicine and nursing. So each of our campuses is shaped by the strengths of its region. So we are very much looking at supporting those regions with our campuses, student learning experience that's connected to their place, their community and industry. Across the university, we're also creating new campuses and spaces designed to bring learning, research and real-world opportunity together. So we've recently just seen the opening of our new Hobart City campus at the Forest, which is an amazing facility. I have mentioned the Australian Universities Accord a couple of times so far. So the Universities Accord is a reform initiative aimed at shaping the future of higher education in Australia and sets out 47 recommendations designed to improve equity, accessibility and alignment between universities and vocational education sectors. So the goal is to ensure that Australia's workforce is equipped with the necessary skills to meet the future challenges that we face together as a country. What does it mean for the young people who we're concerned about today? So by 2050, 80% of all jobs will require a tertiary qualification. So that's either a university, higher education or VET qualification. So to meet this need, 90% of young people finishing school will need to go on to take a university. This includes around 50% requiring a bachelor degree or higher qualifications and 44% requiring VET qualifications. So the key targets of the Accord: raising the tertiary education attainment rate from 60% to at least 80% of the workforce by 2050, increasing the proportion of university educated Australians in that age of 25 to 34 from 45% to 55% by the same year, expanding the number of 25 to 34-year-olds with a tertiary level vocational or technical qualification to 40% again by 2050. This gives you an idea of the projected growth in employment by industry over the next 20 years. So these figures have recently just been updated. So you can see there that there are some huge areas where we're expecting to see growth. And again, a lot of these areas are where people will need quite specialised qualifications. Moving on to the school leaver section of this webinar. So how does a school leaver secure a university offer? So quite often I meet parents and they have been through the experience of applying to university, and it has changed quite a bit over the last few years. So primarily the way that students apply to university is in two ways: qualifying with an ATAR score. So each of our courses has a guaranteed entry ATAR, and those ATARs can be found in the course unit handbook, which is available online. And this means that if you achieve the right ATAR, you can be guaranteed a place within that course. Now, that's a very broad term. That may not mean that if it is a competitive entry course like medicine, achieving the ATAR may not necessarily mean a guaranteed place, but for most of our courses, if you achieve that ATAR, then you'll be guaranteed a place within that course. Under the Early University Offer, the Schools Recommendation Program, SRP, offers for Year 12 students, it offers Year 12 students the chance to receive an early offer. So an offer for a place at university in September this year. First round offers will go out, so 3rd of September. Anyone in Year 12 who applies before the 27th of July for any course apart from medicine or paramedicine could potentially receive their early offer on the 3rd of September. They can apply for multiple offers, so up to 5, and can receive up to 5 offers. Medicine and paramedicine will be assessed based on ATAR in December when their results are released. So these are primarily the two ways that students will apply to enter university, particularly at the University of Tasmania, we're talking about here today. So what is an ATAR? Well, ATAR, another acronym, it's short for the Australian Tertiary Admission Rank, and it's a number ranging from 0 up to 99.95. It compares students' academic achievement with other eligible Tasmanian students that year. So an example, an ATAR of 80 indicates that your overall rating is equal to or better than 80% of the other ATAR recipients in Tasmania. So the ATAR is a ranking order, not an actual mark. To be eligible to receive an ATAR in Tasmania, students must complete at least 2 years post-year 10 senior secondary study or equivalent, be awarded their Tasmanian Certificate of Education, so their TCE, and achieve at least a satisfactory achievement or better in at least 4 task level 3 or 4 courses or equivalent. And that also includes our HAP and UCP courses, otherwise known as our Higher Achievement Program and our University Connection Program. So some students will participate in those units as part of their TCE. The TCE, or Tasmanian Certificate of Education, is the senior secondary certificate that is offered in Tasmania. Students need to achieve the TCE to receive an ATAR for university entrance. So the TCE actually recognises the skills and capabilities demonstrated by students in their senior secondary level, so years 11 and 12. It certifies that students have completed a minimum of 2 years of further education post-year 10, that they have met the participation and achievement standards by completing a combination of study options to obtain their TCE points, and then demonstrated the 3 everyday adult standards they've set. So reading, writing, and communication, so that's in English, the mathematics, and the use of computers and the internet. So you may hear your children or students saying, oh, have I got my English tick? I've got my maths tick. I've got my ICT tick. So they are the 3 everyday adult standards that form part of the TCE. So our early offer program is designed to support young people as they take that next step into further education. So through our school recommendation program, it gives Year 12 students the opportunity to apply for an early offer before they actually finish school. So as I previously mentioned, offers this year will go out on the 3rd of September. And the program considers their year 11, level 3 and 4 results, along with a personal recommendation from their school. So we use this information to then ascertain if they're eligible for a place at university. And it can actually help reduce the pressure during Year 12, knowing that they already have their offer for university, that they have the offer for the course that they want to study. So it gives them that ability to just focus on completing Year 12 successfully without that added pressure of, will I get the offer I want? Will I get into the course that I want? So applications this year opened on the 25th of June. As I mentioned before, first round applications close on the 27th of July, with first round offers going out in early September. So students apply to the university. They can apply for up to 5 courses, as I mentioned. We encourage them to chat with their school career advisor or a representative from the university who would regularly attend their schools. We have staff that are active in our schools across the state and also interstate. They submit their application, and then, as I said, first round offers go out in September. The school will complete the recommendation and send that to us. So when your child applies, they tick the box to say that they are applying under the school recommendation program, and then we contact the school to receive the recommendation. Quota courses are excluded, so medicine and paramedicine are the 2 that do not form part of this program, and they are ATAR assessed only. If your child doesn't receive the offer that they wanted or their first preference under the school recommendation program, they will have a second chance to be assessed for that when their ATAR comes out in December. So it's not a definite, you haven't met that requirement under that recommendation. They will still have that second chance when their ATAR is released. Just so you have an idea about what the rubric and the recommendation looks like, We seek information around a whole range of areas. So literacy and numeracy, critical thinking, how interested the student is in their own education, their independence when it comes to studying, their critical thinking, time management, collaborative skills, everything that combines to make them the student that they are. That gives us a really clear indication as to how successful they will be going on into higher education. So you can see there are 4 categories. Students would be assessed based on being on a pathway, or they may satisfactorily meet the particular criteria within that rubric. It could be that they are more on the commendable side, and then there's also the high achievement side. So this gives us a really well-rounded idea about where the student is sitting and how their approach to study, how serious about it they are and how committed they are. I've mentioned the timeline a couple of times so far. So this is just a visual of the early offer timeline. So once again, applications have opened and round 1 applications are open. Our medicine applications have a separate date. So they will actually open on the 1st of August. And that's primarily to allow students to have their UCAT results. So for any of you who have children looking at studying medicine, you've probably heard all about UCAT. And the application deadline for medicine is also different to the other courses. So you'll see there on the timeline it has a closing date, 30th of September. Offers for medicine would start being issued once ATAR results come in December. Basically, I think I've covered everything there, so I won't go into any more detail, but that gives you a visual of all the dates. So as I mentioned, if a student doesn't receive an offer for one of their preferences, they will be reassessed when their ATAR is released in December, so they do get a second chance at that. We aim for everyone to receive an offer or a pathway to what they want. So if we have a rubric that is borderline, we will look at year 11 results. If a student doesn't meet the actual requirements for that course, then we will have a discussion with them around that and encourage them to add a pathway as one of their preferences. And there are several pathways for students looking at coming on to university. And that's often a conversation around whether or not they would look at another course or an alternate course, or whether they'd be looking at a pathway to get to that high preference as well. We also have a range of student supports right through. So we have staff that work with students in Year 12 at schools. We also have that support service that then follows through once they are enrolled at the university and studying. So accessibility services work quite closely with our students who may need learning access plans. There's also a Spearmint program, which is very popular with students that require that extra support as well. Counselling and wellbeing is offered outside of normal hours as well. So there is after hours support for students. We have a peer assisted program, which is our PASS sessions. So they are run by students who might be 3rd year students, and they'll run these PASS sessions for 1st year students. They've studied the units that these students are currently doing, and they can provide quite a lot of support as well. Often it's nice to get support from someone who has only recently completed that unit. They can build a bit of rapport with the students because they've been through what that student's currently going through. Student advisors offer a one-on-one specialised support to help students stay on track. So that could be anything from time management to actually looking at a student study plan and helping them design their degree, incorporate units where they might have electives so they can actually add value to their degree and create a more specialised kind of program for when they go out to sell that degree to their future employer. We offer learning workshops and webinars, live and pre-recorded sessions on a whole range of topics. So everything from time management, study skills, there's a whole range of things that students can access. There's also 24/7 study support, so they can access that as well for assignment feedback. We have a drop-in learning lounge, so that is also run by students and peer mentors. So students can pop in, whether that be virtually, so that our online students also have support, or if they're at home working one day and they need that extra support, that's available as well. Just to touch on one of the scholarships that we would like to highlight, this scholarship was introduced a few years ago around supporting students to study. So supporting them through that particularly that first year at university. There can be substantial costs in relocating, moving into accommodation. And this particular scholarship caters for those types of financial issues. So it has a four-pronged kind of support: financial support, a relocation support, so for students that are moving from one area to another to study, and then accommodation support. So students who are moving into university accommodation, they can also apply for this scholarship. There is a fourth component, which is all around that first year at university. So that's kind of more of a wellbeing support, helping students that might experience a bit of homesickness when they first move, or might be struggling just in that first few months of settling into university and settling into that new life that they're undertaking. It's very easy to apply for. So when scholarships open in late August, students can log into our scholarship portal and complete a personal profile. And then it's a quick apply option. So it's one of the scholarships that I would like to highlight today, because it does provide quite a lot of that upfront support that students need. Key dates. So I have mentioned already that applications for 2027 are open, apart from medicine, which opens on the 1st of August. Students can apply online. It's quite easy, it's quite straightforward, but they can also get help at school through either a university representative that attends their school, or with the career advisor at their school. They can also request one-on-one appointments with university staff, either over the phone or face-to-face. Early offer applications do close on the 5th of October, but students can still apply to university after that date up until January. So if your person doesn't apply by the 5th of October, it doesn't mean that they can't apply for university. The early offer program closes on the 5th of October, but applications are still open well into the new year. They would be assessed on their Year 12 and ATAR results, as opposed to that recommendation by their school. So Year 12 and the early university offer application process is the only way that students can be assessed with a recommendation from their school. So that's just something to bear in mind. If they miss that deadline, then it would be their Year 12 results and then ATAR that we'd be looking at after that date. So we have some further webinars, coming up in term 3 and 4. They will run in September and December. They're both on the 10th, so easy dates to remember. And they will cover things like understanding how the offer process works, what to do next. So by then, your children would have already received their first round offers, and they'll be thinking about what to do with them, what they want to do, which one do they want. They can accept offers and not be locked into anything, so it just holds the place for them. We do also encourage them to read their offers, just in case there are any crucial dates and things like that in there that they need to be aware of. Yeah, thank you very much, and have a great day.